Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing some intuitive drawing and painting in our sketchbooks. Get your sketchbook, get something to experiment with or whatever you enjoy using. For those of you who have never seen an intuitive drawing video of mine, I will explain it very briefly. There's a couple of rules, and all of those rules revert back to rule number one, which is there are no rules. You don't have a plan, you just do whatever comes to mind. Turn your brain off. It's a bit like troubleshooting a computer. What do they always tell you? You need to shut it down and reboot. It's been way too long since I did an intuitive drawing video. I have so many different things that I want to do and I can't decide. When I can't decide, then I just go straight for the sketchbook. For my process, I just pick a color. A lot of times I'll use black, but sometimes I use other colors. Pick a color, doesn't really matter because most of the time you end up going over top of it. And I just like to start out with just some random shapes and lines, whatever you feel like doing. Mess up the page, okay? Another thing I like to do right in the beginning is, because I'm using water-soluble art supplies, I don't like to go too far into it before I start putting water on it. I don't know why. I think it helps me relax. Helps me relax and, get over what I've just done. Because sometimes it can feel like you're forcing it, like you want it to turn into something cool. But if you kind of just mess it up, it can lead to all kinds of things, unexpected things, which is part of the fun, I think. So, and now I'm going to dry it so that I can work on top of it. And from here, you just keep going. If you want to make it about your color choices, you can choose colors that you're kind of drawn to. If you want to make it about shapes, you can definitely work on incorporating a lot of different shapes and textures and things. Just whatever you do, don't get too precious about one specific thing. Because you really just never know. You never know what's going to happen. And at this stage, you might be thinking, well, you've ruined it, but I haven't ruined it. You can draw on top of it and layer. Try not to overthink it. And if you're like, I wonder what might happen if I do this, then do it. Don't feel like you're gonna make a mistake. Oftentimes when you're doing this exercise, the biggest mistakes you make end up being the really cool thing. Like this, I was really not liking the fact that there was so much black and gray all through here. Just trying to show you that you can go on top of it, created this kind of weird thing, whatever this is, and I'm actually really liking this section of the page now. Whereas before, I was like almost wanting to avoid this side of the page. Okay, so what are we seeing in here, if anything? Stop every once in a while and look at it, different angles. See if it looks like anything to you. If it doesn't, keep going. Right now, it doesn't really look like anything to me. This reminds me of one of those badminton birdie things. So there's that. I also have a weird crocodile look where like these are his two eyes and his head goes that way and this is his like snout. part. A little weird. I also see a strange Ninja Turtle looking figure here. And then there's a slight figure, 2 eyes, nose, mouth, chin. Okay. Here's his hair, and he's like sitting with a thinking position. Something that I do like is this green. I want to kind of scatter the green all over the page. I don't like these. I don't like the colors of these. So I'm thinking about changing the color on all of these, and maybe even doing more. I really like this, and I do want to continue with that. Maybe this keeps going over. Blending this color and this dark blue color has made a really interesting color there. I'm leaning into it. Let's see. Feels like windows or something, but I don't really want them to stay windows. I love this color. Liking this a lot more. It's much more interesting. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is still, but it's definitely more interesting. I'm also a fan of whatever just happened here. I also don't know what this is. It reminds me of a grasshopper. Getting drain vibes, the grill of a car, a forest in a box. I don't know. I actually think a forest in a box idea might be awesome. So maybe it goes off this way. So here's the back side of the box. Maybe that's a flap. Another box flap here. And it's coming out like that. Not really looking like a box, so I'm going to have to go over this. And this guy, I feel like this guy is going to be like a cockroach on top of the box. Here's his head, and his body comes that way. Very strange. It's been a couple days, not gonna lie. It's actually been like a couple of weeks. I actually ended up doing this video a little out of sync. I got sick for a little while and I wasn't able to keep going with this, but I'm gonna finish off this video today, which you don't care about because you're watching the full video, so it kind of matters to me and what I'm about to do next. Normally in my intuitive drawing and painting videos, I like to do at least 2 different, like completely different intuitive drawings. So I would do this one and then I would go to a new page and do a completely different one. But because I'm coming back to this so much later, I really wanted to play off of this piece right here because I'm really happy with a lot of different elements of it. But not really it as a whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my canvas paper and I'm going to pull certain things from this that I really like and kind of play off of it and then see if I can create something like using inspiration from this. So it's going to be an intuitive something based off of an intuitive something. I really liked the idea of having like this kind of forest in a box and how different it was from like the whole atmosphere of the outside of the box. I know it's weird, okay? I know it's weird. Just stay with me for a minute. So I definitely want to have something like this along with the glowy nighttime feel. I also really enjoy how this bird came out, especially his wing. This one reminds me of another intuitive drawing that I did where there was a bird coming out of a television screen. Some of you might remember that one. That one was a lot of fun. But this bird reminds me of that. And this actually kind of reminds me of that too. It's almost like if the bird were to fly through here, it'd be coming out of the television screen from the other piece. So I want to have this and I want to have this. And I definitely want to have this green glow coming out. I don't know. I'm going to start working on it. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm just gonna go with it. I've been really wanting to use this canvas paper again. It's about the same size as my sketchbook page. So hopefully it's not gonna feel too intimidating to do. So to start with, I know I want this bright green up here in this corner of the page. Like kind of a squarish area for the tree box or whatever. And then the green kind of keeps coming down. I've got the other halves of these are in this little travel. So let me see if I can find. No, where's the pink? There's the pink. At the very bottom, of course. And the only bad thing about taking the paper off of the Neocolors is they get kind of dirty, but you can kind of just, you know, brush it off. And I don't care if there's a little bit that comes off, but I just didn't want a ton of like dark colors to come off on it. Put some water on it. I should really be using a bigger brush, but this is like my favorite brush to use because it's all messed up on the tip. And all I'm doing right now is just getting the underpainting kind of going. And then over here, I know I want it to be dark, but not too dark. And I like mixing in a little bit of black with this blue, purple in here. I use this big thick brush for this one. Just to get a good mix. See how one of the things I really liked was having these kind of shapes going on. But what I didn't like that happened was it was almost like I lost how I did the shape the more that I messed with it. Because I added the green to it and then it started looking more like tile. Whereas this, to me, looks a little bit, I don't know, it looks a little bit more interesting because it feels like it's highlighting something rather than being like a grid. And I thought about making it look kind of like a tree. Maybe it won't be a tree, but maybe it will. But I do like the shapes so far. Can't forget about the bird either. I'll probably have to go on top of some of this. So that's even more reason to not overthink it, I guess. Okay. Had a bit of a happy accident over here. Whenever I went to dry it, it was really wet. I was able to like dry it this way to push the water like to where it's darker there. And then I did the same thing here, and it looks more like the ground, you know, because this is supposed to be trees. And I want it to look like you can go into this box area. I'm not gonna do a literal box like I did in the original because that was one of the things I really didn't like about the original. And I liked how, you know, this is kind of like a road, and the road kind of goes into the box, and you can see how it kind of curves around that way. That was another little happy accident. When I was doing all these lines, it just kind of made a line right there, and then immediately it looks like it goes into the box like that. Again, I'm not great at explaining what I mean, but hopefully you can see. The bird has to go in here, which is going to cover up a lot of this. And I don't want to put the bird here because I also like this shape right here. This originally I said it was going to be like a cockroach. I hated that idea. As soon as I did it, I was like, I don't like it. So I just kind of wiped it off. But when I wiped it off, it left like this outline here, which almost looks like a planet or a spaceship. You know how I like my alien spaceships? It also kind of looks like a light, like maybe a flashlight shining. I don't really know. I think I am going to make this kind of like a planet because it almost ends here. This is dark around, so it's like at an angle, looping around this way. Yeah, and then this. Maybe an orange. And then once I put water on it, I can kind of blend it in a way that looks a little bit more interesting, I think. It's starting to kind of, there's a mood that's kind of growing and I'm liking the mood so far. This planet or whatever is a little bit big for the rings, so I might need to bring the rings out, maybe out past the box so that you can really see that there is like a sky background and it's not so like boom, boom, boom. I do feel like I'm having a little bit of pressure to like talk you through what I'm doing. So I might speed this up and then come back and talk to you about it at the end. Hopefully that's okay if I do that. I'm not sure. I might keep talking about it. You never know. Either way, I'm having a good time with it. So let's keep going. think I'm gonna leave it here. I think I've got it to a place where I'm kind of happy with it. And I'm feeling like if I keep going on top of it, I'm going to mess it up. So I'm gonna stop. I think it turned out pretty awesome. Okay. I know some of you are gonna be like, what the heck is going on? And your guess is as good as mine, okay? Do we see the inspiration? Obviously this became a planet off in the distance. I don't know, some kind of portal with a forest. Drive through here and you're driving into like another world, I think. I kept the road a road and I turned the square stuff into this kind of weird cyber tree. I really like how the bird turned out. I do like how slim this one is compared to this one. This one got a little chubby. Also his wing is a little stiff, but I'm not mad at it. And this one, I just kind of freestyled one over here and he looks a little bit like a can opener. I like his little belly. His wing's nice and dark. But yeah, they blend together so much easier on the canvas paper than they do like in the sketchbook. I'm so glad I chose to take from here and make a whole different piece out of it. I always want to do this idea, but it's like I get busy doing other things and creating other new things that, you know, a lot of times I don't steal from my sketchbook and create something out of it because it's like I'm too busy creating new things, you know? Yeah. I'm happy with it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a like. It really helps me out a lot. And to all my subscribers, whether you've been here from the start or you just subscribed today, thank you so much for being here. Lots more on the way, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time.